every senseless soul in search of answers.
Whether or not you like the series, there's no denying that Bungie changed the console landscape with Halo. It was the first FPS to ever fully work on consoles, and it revolutionized the way we think of online gaming. It's a very important game, to be sure, but is it a very good one?
Though Geoff and I are late to the party with this one, we felt the need to give the popular Halo Reach a review. What with it being Bungie's send-off to the series, not to mention the fact that I just got it and Blistered Thumbs doesn't have a review of it. So, grab your favorite beverage and sit back, because the way we saw this one may surprise you.
I gave the order not to pursue. Our primary objective was to get the station's relay back online.
Your primary objective? Commander, are you a puppet or a Spartan?
Reach casts you as Noble 6, the newest addition to the elite group of Spartans known as Noble Team. The plot follows Noble Team as they try and fail to fend off the Covenant invasion of the planet Reach, all of them dying very noble deaths in the process. See what they did there? Normally it wouldn't be kosher for us to spoil who dies, which is everyone less important than Master Chief, and how the game ends in a review, but the game makes it abundantly clear from the first screen that you and your team are grunt kibble.
Notice the dismissive attitude towards the plot. Too bad that Bungie had about the same attitude here. To be quite honest, with every single one of you guys out there clutching your Master Chief t-shirts, we have to face the facts. There isn't a single character in this game that isn't anything more than an accent buried in a suit of armor. There's no character development, and in a setting that could have been ripe with solid characterization and depth, no less. It's like smelling a great meal getting cooked, and then someone dragging you off by your ankles to eat a well-done steak that's been seasoned with shredded cardboard and death. How is it possible to not develop human characters in a war-torn environment when prior entertainment may as well have written a how-to guide on how to put it together?
We realize that Bungie's a gameplay-first sort of developer, but you'd think that they'd at least hire a competent writer to pen the story. Surely they could have hired Eric Nyland, the writer of Fall of Reach, to expand upon the plot he created. As it is, though, the narrative mainly serves as a vehicle for getting you to various explosions, and while those are fun, you start to wonder if it's all that Bungie can do.
Jackpot. Transmitting visual. You've seen this, Cat?
Confirmed. Receiving Nova 3 and Nova 6 live visual of a Covenant strike force.
It's no strike force, it's an invading army. If we're gonna smother this thing, we need to go in hard and fast.
Agreed. All recon teams disengage and fall back. Sun will be up in a few hours, and it's going to be a very busy day.
Reach's presentation is sort of an interesting topic to try and cover. For some odd reason, it feels like eating Mexican food. It may taste really, really good on its first impression to your body, but some of the ingredients may not completely agree with your digestive system later on.
More so than any prior iteration of the series, the visuals in Reach are pretty damned incredible. As always, the environments are diverse, expansive, and gorgeous, and for once, the character models have the looks to match. Whereas Halo 3's Spartans look like they were wearing armor made of shiny plastic, Reach's Spartans look like they're wearing armor made of actual, metal. The bloom has also been cranked way down in this game, meaning that you can actually see the pretty graphics this time around. It's a nice touch.
The issue with the game's presentation lies within the sound design. Granted, the actual sound effects sound very solid, but Marty O'Donnell's soundtrack really gets misused. On its own, it's a very good soundtrack and something not too bad for your MP3 player. It's the utilization of the soundtrack that's one of the most unimpressive pieces of sound I've heard in a good long while. Each of the songs that are used seems like they're misplaced or misleveled, and someone in the audio department must have become too close to Mr. Jack Daniels when he mixed it. I honestly hope that Bungie fired that guy, because in a couple of scenes in this game, when it's on, but when it's off, it's really off.
Point reached. Checkpoint reached.
As with everything else we've talked about in this review, the gameplay certainly has its ups and downs. Well, they're mostly ups, but Micah really wanted to force a roller coaster metaphor into here. Thank God I got the last draft on my half of the script, huh?
When it comes to changes in the gameplay, there really isn't much that's new to say. It's Halo, so it's going to play like Halo. It Halos, therefore it is. However, the little shifts can make a world of difference to some. The newfound armor abilities can be neat and effective, but one has to wonder how a trained soldier forgets how to sprint or roll. Then again, it's a video game, so what are you going to do? There's also lots of new weapons and vehicles to toy around with, and for once, it actually feels like a very balanced weapon system this time around. What stinks is that the campaign's level design is a little inconsistent. Though some parts have some really good moments that'll make your heart race, others seem like they're designed for multiple people and don't really see a shift in balance if there aren't multiple people in the campaign. It's not fun to get consistently blown up while you wait for your buddies to get online.
When it comes to multiplayer, Reach doesn't bring to the table the same level of innovation that distinguished previous entries in the series. It does, however, greatly refine the innovation set in place by Halo 3, making improvements on the matchmaking and file sharing systems, tweaking the combat, and giving much of the user-driven content that made Halo 3 stand out a total overhaul. Character customization options are much more extensive and make use of a new credit system in addition to being tied to your rank. As a result, the Spartan you make for multiplayer feels much more personalized this time around, as opposed to just being a palette-swapped version of Master Chief with a different head. This is especially nice considering that you can bring your custom Spartan into every game mode, campaign included. It makes the experience feel just a touch more cohesive and personalized.
Let it be known that Halo Reach is by no means a bad game, but it's certainly not the console game changer that a lot of other outlets made it out to be. Though the multiplayer is easily the best that has come about in the series, the single player element is barely there. In fact, let me simply say that if you are a single player kind of guy, don't even attempt this game. Not to mention, there's something to be said of a developer that essentially gives half the effort to what amounts to the very reason that the game is named Halo Reach.
The multiplayer counts for a lot though, as do the wealth of customization options integrated into the game. Taking those substantial features into account, we're giving the game a 7 out of 10. It's only a decent game, really, but we do recommend that everyone at least rent it. When it comes to multiplayer, this is some of the most fun you'll ever have with your Xbox. Pick it up and catch the disease with some Griffball, now its own matchmaking playlist, go for a race around the massive Forge world, or maybe try to slaughter your friend in a game of life-size Jenga. Yeah, that exists, and it's a personal favorite of Micah's and mine. Or, hell, shoot some bitches in Slayer, CTF, for the newly added Invasion mode. It's a hell of a lot of fun. You won't regret it. Guaranteed.
For Geoff and I's full write-up on the game, don't forget to head to blisteredthumbs.net.